just thinking about something this past week. There's a couple different tiers to being internet famous. I mean, there's like Psy or Justin Bieber where you become really famous off of a music video on YouTube. Then there's the really creative people that put together like Rube Goldberg contraptions or design sine waves that affect the path of how water trickles down. Then you have people that become famous off of the internet for making like really funny videos or something. And just below that, there's being internet famous for having like a grumpy cat. Then there's like the really low tiers of being famous off of the internet for something. Don't let yourself become internet famous for doing something like sucking the blood out of a used tampon. You're basically one step away from being one of the girls in Two Girls One Cup or that one guy from the BME Pain Olympics. Ugh. What's going on, everyone? This is H.B.Y. Michael to those that know me better. And I'm back with a new vlog. And ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into a couple of things that caught my attention this week. The first thing I want to talk about this week is a movie that got a lot of buzz at the Sundance Film Festival this past week. It's this one movie called Escape from Tomorrow. It's about this guy named Jim White who's on holiday with his wife and 2 children when he finds out that he's been fired from his job. And as he reels from this news, his mental state progressively gets worse as him and his family navigate through Disney World. And as the movie progresses, all the Disney attractions and characters become nightmarish specters as perceived by White's unstable mind. But the reason why this movie was buzzed about so heavily at Sundance is how this movie was shot. Director Randall Moore and the entire crew from Escape from Tomorrow filmed the movie at Disney World and Disneyland, all without Disney's permission or knowledge. And now there's a bigger question as to whether or not Disney can stop the release of Escape from Tomorrow. Now, while Disney has told CNN that they are aware of this film, they said that they are not publicly commenting on Escape from Tomorrow. Myself personally, I'm hoping that Disney doesn't go through with the lawsuit and that we all actually get to see Escape from Tomorrow. And moving on from Escape from Tomorrow, let's talk about Chief Keef for a second. While Chief Keef is serving out a 60-day sentence in a juvenile detention center for a probation violation, the one about how he violated his probation by firing guns in a Pitchfork Selector video, while one of the terms of his probation was that he couldn't be around or use firearms. There's a couple of things that have happened with Chief Keef while he was serving out his probation sentence. I wanted to talk about the terms of Chief Keef's deal over at Interscope Records, especially now that they've been made public by some court documents. When he initially got signed at Interscope, there were a lot of rumors in regards to Chief Keef getting everything from a deal for a line of headphones called Beats by Keef to an actual movie about his life. Now we know that Chief Keef signed 2 separate deals over at Interscope. One of the deals involved a joint venture for his own label, Glory Boys Entertainment, but Chief Keef also signed an artist deal with Interscope for 3 albums that could potentially net him over $6 million over the course of a few years. But since this is the music business, there are also a couple of major provisions that were in Chief Keef's contracts. One of them being that if Chief Keef's debut album, Finally Rich, does not sell 250,000 copies by December 2013, that Interscope Records has the right to terminate his deal, but that also a large majority of Chief Keef's advance money is being set up in a trust fund that he cannot touch until he is 18. Now, the reason why this is all public is that the Chicago courts actually have to approve the deal since Chief Keef is a minor. And a judge is set to rule on his Interscope deal on April 16th, a few weeks after Chief Keef is set to appear in front of a judge on his probation violation, to which he could be released from custody. And real quick, I wanted to get into something a little bit political. This past Wednesday out in New Mexico, a Republican lawmaker introduced a bill that would basically criminalize abortions after rape as tampering with evidence. Yes, House Bill 206, introduced by State Representative Catherine Brown, would charge a rape victim who ended her pregnancy with a 3rd-degree felony for tampering with evidence, essentially trying to legally require victims of rape to carry out their pregnancies to term in order to use the fetus as evidence for a sexual assault trial. Keep in mind, being found guilty of a 3rd-degree felony could land someone behind bars for up to 3 years. Now, while Catherine Brown says that she introduced the bill with the goal of punishing the person that commits rape or incest who then tries to facilitate an abortion to destroy the evidence of the crime, quite a few people on the progressive side have opposed this proposed bill, not only calling it blatantly unconstitutional, but that also according to Republican philosophy that victims of legitimate rape would have to carry their fetus to term in order to prove their case to the state. However, this bill is unlikely to pass, as Democrats have a majority in both chambers of New Mexico state legislature. And now, it's time for this week's rhyme calisthenics. This week I'm gonna see if I can slip in about 4 to 5 different pop culture references in a 12-bar verse over the beat to Badass by Kid Ink featuring Meek Mill and Wale. let's go. I was gonna speak on how I under-accessorize, but goddamn little mama, I'm impressed tonight. You're looking on point, face, ass, waist, chest and thighs, and how you move it could make an atheist scream testify. Yeah, when you put that all together, I'm comfy. The only thing they had on the side was my buddy, my girl's dimes. They got them leaning tight, chunky as he throw that money all around like it's Spike Dudley. Yep, I treat the beat like a red-headed stepchild. Out there, that booty is the truth, like the X-Files. But how did things turn out so wet? While that tongue brought head my way like reptile. Yeah. And those were my rhyme calisthenics. If there's any beat you want me to hop on for one of these segments, or if you want me to do a challenge while doing one of these verses, leave a comment down below. But now, we've come to the end of this week's vlog. Subscribe to my channel at youtube.com/iamHBY. You can follow me on both Twitter and Instagram at iamHBY. iamHBY.tumblr.com for my Tumblr blog. SoundCloud.com/H.B.Y for my music. I'm also selling prints of my Instagram pictures over at instacanv.as/iamHBY. And I'm also answering questions over at vu.com/iamHBY. But that's going to do it for me for this week. You're all fantastic. Continue to stay awesome, and I'll see you next time.